It was supposed to be the ultimate redemption arc, Lewis Hamilton, the seven-time world champion, donning Ferrari red, chasing an eighth title and eternal glory. The tifosi believed, the world watched, and yet, after just 9 races, the Italian press wields its dagger. A dull star, in full crisis. In Barcelona, Hamilton trailed the leaders by nearly a minute. Worse still, overtaken by Nico Hülkenberg's customer Sauber. The humiliation was as public as it was painful. Whispers began swirling in Maranello's corridors. Had Ferrari overpromised? Had Lewis underestimated the depth of Ferrari's internal politics and engineering flaws? What began as a bold move is now framed as a cautionary tale. But is it really so simple? Underneath the headlines lies a more intricate web of setups that defy logic, of aerodynamic upgrades that fail to deliver, of simmering cultural tensions between a British champion and an Italian institution. This is not just a battle for podiums, it's a fight for control, for influence, for Hamilton's very legacy, and the cracks are only just beginning to show. Barcelona should have been a turning point. New floor, revised suspension, wind tunnel data promising a step forward. Instead, regression. In free practice, Hamilton complained of lack of confidence. In the race, rear instability plagued every corner exit, and then came that radio message, "Something is wrong with this car." The telemetry told a brutal story. Rear tires struggling to reach operating temperature, mechanical grip elusive, balance oscillating from understeer to snap oversteer. But why? Insiders suggest a deeper malaise. Ferrari's current suspension philosophy, optimized for smoother circuits, collapses on more demanding tracks like Barcelona. Hamilton's driving style, precise, flowing, dependent on rear stability, exposes this flaw mercilessly. Pushing harder only compounds the issue. The more Lewis chases lap time, the more the SF25 fights back. Pace becomes a burden, an enemy lurking within the chassis, and each radio broadcast sends a louder message. Frustration is growing. Behind closed doors, urgent meetings multiply. Engineers scramble for solutions, but can software tweaks and setup band-aids mask a fundamental design issue? In Maranello, there's a phrase whispered quietly: never underestimate the prince. Charles Leclerc, the homegrown hero, the golden child of Ferrari's future. And right now, he's outperforming the reigning legend. 3 podiums to Hamilton's none, faster in qualifying, sharper in race stints, and crucially, visibly more comfortable with the SF25's peculiar handling. Publicly, the team insists on equal status. But in Formula One, words are wind. In Barcelona, Leclerc received strategic priority. In Monaco, updates arrived first on his car. And in Imola, a split strategy sowed confusion on Hamilton's side of the garage. Is this pure racing circumstance, or subtle favoritism? Dutch analyst Tim Coronel didn't mince words. Hamilton is already number 2. Inside the team, sources hint at diverging camps. One engineer puts it bluntly: "We've built a car for Charles. Now Lewis must adapt to it." And while Hamilton fights physics on track, he's also battling narratives off it. The British press questions his move. Italian media fuels the fire. And all the while, the Prince of Maranello casts a long shadow. But does Leclerc's current advantage stem from talent or team alignment? Lewis Hamilton is no stranger to adaptation. He mastered McLaren's cold efficiency. He thrived in Mercedes' data-driven empire. But Ferrari runs on something else. Emotion, pride, tradition. Inside Maranello's gates, passion fuels every decision, sometimes at the expense of pragmatism. And Hamilton, the consummate professional, is feeling that friction. He arrived expecting collaboration, transparency, open-minded engineering. What he's found is a labyrinth of internal factions, an engineering department torn between innovation and legacy thinking. Simulator work has been a flashpoint. Hamilton's Mercedes experience relies on state-of-the-art correlation. Ferrari systems lag, and crucially, simulator feedback is often overridden by political considerations. One source close to the team says, "Lewis expects engineering clarity. Here, decisions are made over espresso, not telemetry." Then there's the human factor. While Hamilton maintains a calm, deliberate presence, Ferrari's heart beats faster. Leclerc is adored, a native speaker of the Scuderia's language, both literally and culturally. For Lewis, each debrief, each press conference, each team dinner is a lesson in diplomacy, and sometimes isolation. The question looms, can a British icon truly become part of Ferrari's soul? Or is this cultural chasm unbridgeable? In modern F1, perception is everything. And right now, the perception inside Hamilton's garage is one of chaos. It began subtly. Unexplained lack of grip in Miami. Then came the floor damage fiasco in Barcelona, suspected curb strike but no clear culprit, and the low point? Disqualification in China for excessive plank wear, a basic infraction, an unforced error. How does that happen to a team of Ferrari's stature, and to Hamilton's car alone? Official statements blame track bumps, engineers cite setup miscalculation, but behind closed doors, questions multiply. Why was Lewis' car running a riskier ride height? Why was the floor update geometry not fully validated pre-weekend? One Ferrari insider admitted, too many moving parts, too little cohesion. And while team boss Frederic Vasseur publicly defends Hamilton, there is no blame, we win and lose together. Whispers suggest deeper fractures within the garage, some mechanics long loyal to Leclerc, others hesitant about Hamilton's new engineering demands. The result? A fragmented environment, the worst possible backdrop for Lewis's precision-driven approach, and looming over it all, the unspoken fear. Has Ferrari's 2025 development program already been compromised? If so, is Hamilton being set up for failure? By design or by dysfunction? And then came the words that shook the paddock. Mattia Binotto, Ferrari's former team principal, the man who once steered the Scuderia's vision, broke his silence. Hamilton joined too late. He is at the end of his career. The statement echoed like a thunderclap across Italy's sporting press. To some, it was honesty. To others, a deliberate provocation. But let's examine the timing. Binotto left Ferrari amidst political turmoil, replaced by Vasseur, the very man who courted Hamilton. Is Binotto simply voicing a personal view or subtly undermining the current regime? Technically, there's merit to his point. F1's 2026 regulations will trigger a seismic shift. This year and next? Transitional seasons, and yet Hamilton's contract is front-loaded, heavily invested in these lost years. Was the move a stroke of marketing genius or a strategic misstep? Sources suggest Hamilton is already pushing hard for influence over the 2026 concept, but herein lies the trap. Ferrari's engineering leadership remains fragmented. Without full buy-in, even the greatest driver can become an isolated voice. Binotto's words raise a chilling prospect. Has Hamilton been lured into an impossible mission? Too late to shape Ferrari's future, too early to secure its present? And if so, who truly benefits from that outcome? The world is watching for signs. Is Lewis Hamilton broken or merely biding his time? David Coulthard was blunt. He looks punch-drunk. Yet in Barcelona, something flickered beneath the struggles. Hamilton matched Leclerc's pace during key stints. His tyre management, a subtle art few notice, remained impeccable. And behind the visor, a man refusing to surrender. This adaptation takes months, not weeks, Hamilton reminded the media. A calculated message, not an excuse, a signal of intent. But even the strongest warriors bleed. Post-race in Spain, a rare moment of raw emotion. Hamilton apologizing to Sky's Rachel Brooks. I'm sorry I haven't given you better moments this year. Vulnerability, humanity, the champion stripped of armor, if only for a heartbeat. Inside the garage, the mood is split. Some believe Hamilton's turning point is near. Others fear the spiral will deepen. Technically, the team faces a crossroads. Focus upgrades on 2025, or pivot to 2026 and risk writing off Hamilton's present campaign. And emotionally, one question lingers. How long can Hamilton's resilience outlast the pressure? In the eye of the storm, redemption still flickers, but will it ignite or fade into the Maranello mist? In Maranello's inner sanctum, strategy meetings run late into the night. One agenda dominates: 2025, salvage the present or sacrifice it for the 2026 revolution. And Hamilton? He's already lobbying hard, demanding aerodynamic clarity, pushing for simulator alignment, urging the team to chase both the short-term and the long game. But Ferrari faces a brutal truth: resources are finite. Every hour spent refining the SF25 is an hour not spent shaping its successor, and lurking beneath the surface, political games. Certain factions view Hamilton's era as temporary, a PR masterstroke, not a cornerstone. Others argue he must be empowered, or Ferrari risks squandering a once-in-a-generation opportunity. The fans feel it too. Every poor result fuels the doubters. Every glimmer of fight rekindles belief. Social media pulses with division. He should have stayed at Mercedes versus stand with Lewis. But one fact remains undeniable. Hamilton is not here to fade quietly, he is here to win and reshape Ferrari in the process. Whether Maranello will truly let him remains the great unanswered question, and as the European summer swing begins, the battle lines are drawn for the engineers, for the drivers, for the fans. Now, more than ever, Ferrari's gamble hangs in the balance. Will you stand with Lewis? What do you think? Can Hamilton turn this tide, or has Ferrari already made its choice? Let us know in the comments, and remember, stand with Lewis.